Hello amazing people, welcome back to my channel. How you all doing, guys? Hope you're all good. A big thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys a lot. If you're new here, I want to also say thank you so much. So today, guys, I want to show you how to make a female senator with a placket and the side slit. Now this is definitely something you want to have in your closet as a female, right? Let's get to it, guys. So this is my fabric and of course my working tools. Yes, so what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and lay my fabric on the table. I'm going to be cutting out for the front first before I go for the back. Now for this one, I'm going ahead to indicate the vertical lines, 9 inches for chest line. The next is going to be waistline at 17 inches. The next is going to be the hip line at 24 inches there. Then of course the actual length of this top is going to be 28. Yes, for me, it depends on what you want. Then I'll also go ahead and add extra 2 inches for what the hemming allowance, and here you have it. So going ahead now to convert all to a straight line. So once I'm done with that, of course, I'll go ahead and label it all, the chest line to the waist to the hip down to what the hem line there. Then the next thing I want to do is to introduce the 3 by 8 inches mark so I can get my slope. At the 8 inches, I'll come down by 1 inch there and go ahead and get my slope line there. Now the shoulder width for this person is 18 divided by 2, that's 9. Then add 0.5, that's 9.5. Then I will extend this 9.5 to the chest line. Once I do that now, I'm going to get the midpoint of what I have from that slope to the chest line, okay? Whatever it is I have there, I will indicate the midpoint there to get my front armhole. I had about 7 inches there, about 3.5. Go in by 0.5 inches there. Then of course I will create my front armhole there. Then after this now, I'll go ahead and fix the body circumference, okay? Now, on the chest line, the bust circumference is 46 divided by 4, that's about 11.5. I'll mark that down at about 1.5 inches there. So with the extra allowance there, then for the waist, that's 44 divided by 4, 11. Adding the extra allowance as well, then 1.5. Then for the hip line, that's 48 divided by 4, that's 12. Then also added the extra 1.5 for the allowance there. So done this now, I'll go ahead and connect all these points together as you see me doing right now. So once this is done now, the neck width I'm using 2.5 for this. Then the neck depth I'm also using 2.5 here, okay? Then I'll go ahead and create a curve right here. So going ahead now to trim off the sides for the front here and also the neckline and the shoulder width. So here we have it. I'm just trying to notch that hemline there. Now I'm going to take off 1 inch from the shoulder. 1 inch from the shoulder. Going ahead to take that off. And of course, go ahead and trim it out. Now this 1 inch I'm taking off, I'm going to replace it at the back. The reason is because the back is meant to be higher. So setting this aside, let's cut out for the back now. So the first thing I did was to indicate 3 inches first. That's going to be my startup line. There's a reason for this because we're going to be extending the shoulder, just like I said. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and start drafting out exactly what we had for the front piece already. So you can see I'm just fixing the 3 by 8 inches mark, trying to get the shoulder width there. Then from that point, indicating all those vertical lines from the chest line to the waistline down to the hip line and the hip line as well, okay? So once you've achieved this now, go ahead of course and get a straight line there. So like I said, it's just what we have for the front piece is what we are replicating here as well, okay? Yes, so once you have achieved this now, go ahead and fix in the shoulder width. Remember we said was 18 divided by 2, 9 plus 0.5, that's 9.5. Extended it to that chest line, got the midpoint there, and of course created the back armhole for this one. This one we don't have to go inwards by 0.5. Then going ahead to fix the body circumference as well. And of course, go ahead and connect all the points together. Then the shoulder width, I remember I said 2.5. Then for this one for the back, I used about 0.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and created my curve, okay? So feel free to use the neck width of your choice. So you can use actually 3 or 3.5, depending on how full that person's neck is. So now what am I doing now? I'm extending that shoulder by 2 inches. Remember, we took away 1 inches from the front. Instead of replacing 1 inches here, I'm replacing it by 2 inches because we're still going to join it again. I hope you understand. So that's just what I'm doing, okay? Now I can go ahead and cut it out. It's that simple, guys. You can see this. So at the end of the day, we'll see that the back shoulder is going to be coming all the way to the front. That's the essence of all this now. So go ahead and notch that hemline as well. And this is what our piece looks like. You can see this, we're done here. So you can see arranging it now, you can already see now that the back is higher than the front from what you can see right now. You see what I'm demonstrating here. All right, so for the back now, I'm just going to cut a yoke for the back there. I'm just using the piece of fabric. All I did is just to trace out what I already have there. And this is about, say, 10 inches, what we have here. So go ahead and trim out everything. So this is what is going to use as the yoke for the back piece. So once this is done, you can just go ahead and place it. If you want it in a straight form, you can just leave it like so. If you want it in a slant form, which is what I'm going to do, I will go ahead and create a V shape at the edge. You can see me going up 1 inches on both sides of that yoke we've already cut out. Then I'm just trying to make a slant shape there. You can see this. So this is totally optional, of course, depends on what you want. So I'll go ahead and trim it out. So by the time I do this now, it's going to give me that V effect on the lowest part. So once I place it on the back, then I can just fold it in about 0.5 inches and top stitch. And that will be it, guys. So that will be it for the back. Then for the front now, we're going to be creating our slit, then the placket. So I'll go ahead and fold this piece into 2, like so, the way it was. Then I'll indicate 7 inches from that neck depth, slit it open, okay? That's the slit now for this front. Then we are going to be creating the placket right now. So what I'm going to do now is to make a notch just 0.5 inches on each side. Just look at what I'm doing. You can see on each side, I'm just moving inwards by 0.5 inches. By the time you take a closer look, you can see what it looks like. Hope you can see this very well. So just 0.5 inches on each side. This is a very easy way to achieve your placket when you're fixing it. You can see what it looks like here. So I'm going to use this piece of fabric. What I have here is about 2 inches in width. Okay, make a fold like so, like I'm demonstrating. Then bring it together. It's very good to give this a good press. It helps you work with it easily. Then the next piece now is going to be 4 inches in width. This one is 2 inches in width. Another one will be 4 inches in width. And this is what you have. So by the time I gave this a good press, you can see what it's looking like. So you can see that one is wider than the other. One is about 1.5. Then the other one is about, 0.5. So now I'm going to create my placket. So the tiny one is what I'm going to be attaching, okay? So just measure, the slit was about 7 inches. So you can just, trim off the excesses that you need. You don't have to exactly cut off to the exact length there. Why the placket can be about 13 inches, thereabout, okay? So you can see, just measure where you want your placket to stop. I want mine to stop at 13 inches. Now for this smaller piece, I've trimmed off the excesses. Watch what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to open it up and tuck it in on one side. You can see what I'm doing. Just tuck it in. So it's going to go in because of that slit that we initially created. I'm using my pin now to demonstrate. This is how you're going to make a sew. Okay, after that you can trim off the excesses. Why for the wider one, you also do the same thing. You can see this now. So by the time you do this, you will see that the wider one is going to be overlapping on the other one. That's the idea. Okay, so once you do this as well, just I'm pinning it down, you go ahead and sew. By the time you sew this now, you will now extend that wider one, which is actually now going to be your placket. You will stop where you want your placket to stop. So like I said, mine is going to be 13. So wherever it stops, you can trim off the excesses just a little bit away from it so that you can now fold it in like you see me demonstrating. Once you do that, go ahead and top stitch. you top stitch and you stop at that point where you have your actual slit. You can see, just top stitch all the way and stop where you have what, that actual slit of 7 inches. And that's it, guys. So after this is done, you can add maybe a pressing button here if that's what you want, or even a velcro, and that will be it, guys. So once you've achieved this, trim off the excesses on the neckline and you're good to go. So I'll go ahead now and finish this up. Then once that is done, I'll also do for the yoke of the back. So once I did this, this is what I had. You can see it for the back. This is what it looks like. You can see the inside looking so beautiful already. You can see the neckline, nothing has been done there yet. We'll be doing that later. You can see the placket. I have gone ahead to attach it. You can see how this is now looking so good from the inside as well. So the next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and place the back to the front, and I'll join the shoulders. Okay, I'll join the shoulders, and that's all I'm going to do. After that, I'll come back to show you. And this is it after joining the shoulders. You can see, making sure that the inside was cleaned up. Then by the time you fold this properly, align it very well, you will now see the view. You can see now that front, the back has moved to the front. The back shoulder is extending to the front. You can see this now. So this is the point where you can notch the actual shoulder now, so that you can attach your sleeve. After that, attaching your sleeve, then you can now, join the sides. But before that, I want to fix a little pocket. From the shoulder, I'm marking 8 inches. While from that placket, I'm moving away by 2 inches. Okay? 8 inches from the shoulder, 2 inches away from that placket. That is where my pocket will start from. So I just have a tiny piece here. You can see I've already gone to clean up the edges. You can see it's a length of about 6 inches there, and the sides I have about 4 inches. I've already gone ahead to fold the edge and also the top there. You can see this. Make a sew and also iron it properly. Then you go ahead now and attach it at that point. That's where my pocket is going to be. So once I've attached it, go ahead and top stitch all the way on the 3 sides. Then the top opening will give you a space for the pocket. And that's it, guys. So once this is done now, I can go ahead and attach my sleeve. Now for my sleeve, just using this piece of fabric, I want the sleeve to be a length of 9 inches, just adding about 2 inches extra for the hemming allowance. Then I'll go ahead now and rule that as well. So once I'm done with that, then I'll also indicate a calf height of about 4 inches, which is ideal for an average woman. Then 4 inches there. Then on that calf height, the armhole circumference that I use 18 divided by 2, 9. Mark that down, add extra 1 inches as well. So this is just a basic sleeve that we're trying to achieve here. From that point, make a slant line to the edge like you see me doing. Once you do this now, get the midpoint of that slant line, divide it into 2, and from there create your inverted S. Make a curve inwards about 0.75 and move out about 0.5. That's how you make your inverted S, okay? And once this is done, get the round sleeve circumference about 14 divided by 2, 7. Add the extra, seam allowance there, and that's it. We have our sleeve right there. It's that simple. So this is how we make our basic sleeve there. So going ahead now to cut this entire piece out, you can see our sleeve is ready. So once we have this done, it's important to also check what you have on this curve. Just be sure it matches up with what you have on the armhole of the top there. So I had about 11 inches there. Then when I checked what I have on my armhole of the sleeve, I had about 12 inches. So I needed to just trim out a little bit from that sleeve there. So just use my chalk to blend it a bit and trim off some excesses. And you go ahead and cross check again, okay? So just to be sure that whatever you have there is going to fit into what you have on the actual top there. So once I've achieved this, you go ahead now and attach the sleeve. Remember, you must have notched that new shoulder. Attach the sleeve and sew the sides. Leave about 7 inches downward for the side slit. Then also hem the lowest, and that will be it, guys. Okay? Yes, guys. So once I'm done with this now, I will now come back to fix the neckline. So here it is, guys. You can see I've attached my sleeve. My pocket is there. You can see the side slit. Everything is ready. And of course, I've given this a good press. Then the next thing now is to, fix the band for the neck. So I'm going to first of all measure the round neck there from one end. Whatever it is you have, make sure you measure it correctly. You can do this twice or more. I have about 19 inches there. So set this aside. I'll use this piece of fabric to create my band. Then I'm going to be cutting this in bias fold. It's very important you do this. This will help the neck band to relax properly. That's all, the neck taping. So bias fold now, I'm going to measure the width of this band will be 2.5. So going ahead to measure 2.5 all the way. So once I've achieved this, go ahead and connect all the points together. So this is what your bias cuts out, okay? This is how you cut out in bias form. So once I'm done now, I'll go ahead and trim this up. But just to also make sure that you have exactly what is going to go around the neckline that we've measured. Remember, we measured 19 inches. But don't just cut exactly 19 inches. You can just add a little bit more, just about 2 inches extra, just to be on the safe side, okay? It's better you have some excesses to trim out when you're done fixing it. And so that's it, guys. Once I achieve this now, I'll go ahead and trim off my bias here. So once I went ahead to cut off my bias, you can see what this looks like now. Then I'll go ahead and make a fold on both sides. You can see like so. Make a fold like this and give this a very good press. So that's what I'm going to do now so we can fix the neck. And here, guys, you can see I'm done with that. You can see, guys, my bias is ready. I've given this a good press. You can see how this is looking now. So it's time to now attach it. All I need to do now is to take it from one end. But make sure that wherever you're starting from, you have to fold the edge like so. You can see this. Then you start, okay? Just tuck it in on that neck, round neckline there. Just take your time, tuck it in all the way, and you sew round to the other end. You can already see how this is looking already. So that's how it's going to appear. Just sew till you get to the other end. And that will be it, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Like, we've come to the end of this one. I hope you find this helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm on my news. Please subscribe and support this channel. It will go a long way to help me grow. Thank you so much, guys. My subscribers, I appreciate you so much. If you're new here, I also want to say thank you. See you on the next one. Bye.